Yo, what is going on, everyone? It is your boy Knight, and today we're going to talk about zoners and the zoning archetype as a whole. So, first and foremost, what is a zoner? A zoner is a character whose entire game plan revolves around beating their opponent by spamming projectiles and set play setups to pretty much kill them from the other side of the screen. The zoner's goal is to keep the other guy out at all costs while keeping as much distance between them and their opponent as possible. Although zoners usually have a lot of strong long-range options, most zoners will be pretty susceptible to rushdown. That is why the keep out game and the tools that the zoners have to get back to a full screen distance are very important. Normally they are terrible once they get closed in on, but your goal is to, well, keep your opponent out for the rest of time and pretty much poke them down from across the screen without them ever really getting a chance to hit you. So now that we know what a zoner is, what's some practical examples? How do they go about the keep out game plan? Well, normally fireballs. Fireballs are on a lot of characters, and it gives a lot of characters zoning capabilities, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're zoners. Ryu from Street Fighter, for example, can zone a lot with his fireballs in the matchups he needs to, but Ryu's not a zoner. His game plan isn't to beat you by just using fireballs. A lot of zoners usually have different ways of keeping you out. They have fireballs, air fireballs, sometimes low fireballs, sometimes straight up full screen laser beams, low full screen laser beams, air full screen laser beams, and a good set of long-range poking normals that normally come with a lot of knockback, so it pushes them to the other side of the screen. A lot of zoners also notoriously have grabs that will reset to full screen, which is absolutely disgusting. Some other zoners can go about it in a bunch of different ways. There's not just fireballs. Some use guns, some use a bunch of slew of weird tools that I won't go into the specifics here, but pretty much there is a lot of different ways to keep your opponent out and pressure them from a full screen distance using whatever method that may be. If you're planning on picking up a zoner character and you want to know the things that you should work on, obviously finding out all of the tools that your character has to keep out the opponent is a good one, but this is where you really want to get good at reading and conditioning. You want to condition your opponent to think you're going to throw a certain type of move, only to throw another one that catches him and keeps him at a distance. For example, if you throw two normal fireballs and your opponent blocks them and then he tries to jump in on you, you could predict that after blocking two, the next one's going to be a jump, and you throw an air fireball instead, and then boom, what do you know? He takes damage and he's back to being full screen. There's a lot of having to guess how your opponent's going to approach you and using your variety of options to shut them down. The more you can keep your opponent away from you, the more success you'll have on this class. If you play long-range mages in some other games, this might feel right at home to you. A lot of them have a lot of tools and gimmicks that they can use, and it really depends character to character, but overall, you really need to know what your opponent's going to do, how much options they know that they can approach with, and try to shut them down as best as possible. The more you shut them down, the less time they have close to you, the less risk you have of getting beaten, because as we already talked about, you are weak up close. You need them far away from you. So learn the options that reset the full screen, learn the moves that are annoying to deal with, and figure out what your opponent has a hard time blocking. If he always jumps in and you just spam air fireballs, keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Chip him out. You have the advantage as long as they're not close to you, so use that advantage and push it all the way for your victory. Some examples of some zoning characters in the fighting games you guys may be playing if you want to pick them up. For Street Fighter 6, we have JP, to some extent Mai, and probably soon Sagat. In Mortal Kombat, there's not too many true zoners, and it kind of varies from game to game. Katana's normally pretty zony. Rain in MK1 is specifically made to be a zoner, but it's kind of hard to say in MK most of the time. It changes game to game. Tekken is pretty much just all straight hands. There's a couple exceptions, but borderline no really zoning hard play style. In BlazBlue, you have Amane and a new 13, very strong ones there. In Guilty Gear, you have Happy Chaos, that's a good one, and almost as equally infamous Axel Low. In Under Night, literally the entire roster are of zoners. I mean, like, seriously, but I guess Hilda and Batista are more keep out zoners more traditionally. In Skullgirls, you have the infamous Peacock and Robo Fortune. Dragon Ball FighterZ has characters like Frieza and Baby. And lastly, if you're feeling some Granblue fantasy, you can always try out Matera or Fairy, and they'll have you absolutely covered. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to the zoning characters. If you guys have any questions or have anything else you'd like me to explain, please feel free to let me know in the comments. And I mean, yeah, bro, you just keep your opponent out, don't let them get close, and you'll have an absolutely wonderful time on the zoning characters. So without further ado, it's been your boy Knight. I shall see you all in the next one. Enjoy.